Howdy YouTube, today we're taking a look at a massive comic book haul. So you probably wouldn't know from my channel, but I am a huge comic book collector. I have a pretty decent collection now. I've been collecting for a couple of years and it's just been growing and growing. But I haven't been to my local comic book shop for probably about a month now, or close to it. And I finally rocked up today and picked up my standing order, and there was a heap of stuff, which I'm going to run through with you guys, give you my thoughts on some of the current series that I read and whether they're any good or not. One other thing I was very excited about was this, the Arkham Knight Red Hood figure. I am going to bring you guys a separate review on that because it does look fantastic and I am a big Arkham Knight fan. In terms of what I picked up today, we've got the Superman Doomed, I guess it's the trade paperback, which is a really cool series. We'll get through that. That's my standing order of comics. And then we've got a ton of preview books, which is a lot of, to be honest, heavy reading. There we go, some more preview books. Suicide Squad, a movie I'm looking forward to, despite a lot of the criticism that is out there about the last trailer and so forth. More previews. Some interesting stuff coming out. But anyway, let's take a look at the comics I picked up. So first up, we've got the Superman Doomed trade paperback, something I have really wanted for quite some time. I love the artwork in this. Look at that. That looks sick. I mean, that's the only way to describe it. That, to me, is what Doomsday should look like. That looks outstanding. Definitely a really cool-looking story that I want to get into. Look at that. That's epic. Anyway, I will stop with the spoilers on that. But yeah, well worth picking up. I'm hoping it's going to be a good read, certainly based on what I've heard and the artwork. It looks outstanding, so a really good find there. Okay, we'll start with Marvel first. So I got this copy of the Daily Bugle, which is kind of cool. I'm not sure what it is, to be honest. It is a giant newspaper. I guess that's kind of cool. So that's that. Obviously, Civil War 2 is in the process of going on at the moment. So with that, I've got the alternate cover. That looks fantastic, actually. That's a really cool pinboard. I rate that. Love the cover with Iron Man there. Captain Marvel. The fight of the century. We shall see. Very excited. Personally, I loved the Civil War movie. I think Marvel did an excellent job with that. There you've got Civil War number 0. Spoilers, potentially. Probably not. M&M's on the back. Nice. Anyway, so the Civil War storyline I'm quite interested in. We've got Civil War 0, 1, and then we've got 1 with the variant cover. I personally just love this cover. There's something about the design of this cover, the retro artwork on it, I think looks really good, to be honest with you. So that's it for the Civil War side of things. Then we get to some more Marvel. We've got Black Panther. Personally, I loved him in the new Captain America movie. I think he was a fantastic character. I'm excited that they're doing a spin-off movie on him. The actual series itself is a really good series. I encourage you to read it. They brought it back last month with number 1. Basically, he's the king or heir to the throne, and it's just about a political civil war, really, that's happening in his home country. A good read, some good artwork as well. Hopefully, guys, you can see some of that. Definitely worth checking out if you're a fan of Black Panther. Even if you're not, I think he's very easy to get into and like. He's a pretty sick character. Then we move to a series I have really been enjoying, and that is the Carnage series. Love the artwork on the cover. The first six issues were their own separate storyline. Basically, Carnage takes on Eddie Brock and Jonah Jameson's son, who I won't spoil anything. If you have read the comics, then you know he turns into a werewolf. But stuff goes down in an abandoned mine, and it's a really good read. The artwork in these is fantastic. Check out Carnage there. I think he looks sick. Why Marvel don't make a Venom or Carnage movie, I am really at a loss. It's just a license to print money that they have, and they refuse to do it. Instead, they think people are more interested in the Fantastic Four, and don't get me started on that, because that'll be a whole separate review. Then we come to Deadpool vs. Spider-Man, a really good comic series. A lot of fun, to be honest with you. This is more of a comedic comic rather than anything serious, which is exactly what you want from Deadpool. definitely a very good read there. Now we come on to some heavy stuff, and that is The Punisher. I haven't read this yet, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Frank Castle, of course. The Daredevil TV show was an excellent show. Season 1 and 2 I thought was fantastic. Season 2 was definitely a lot better, mainly because it was the Punisher show featuring Daredevil and friends. And I'm excited that they're doing a standalone series for the Punisher. In terms of the Daredevil comic as well, the first 5 issues were their own separate storyline dealing with a crime boss called Ten Fingers, and that was a really enjoyable storyline. In this setting, Elektra's just starting to come back into it, and that's quite good. I won't spoil anything with that. And then the last Marvel comic we've got is a new one, and that is Nighthawk. I know absolutely nothing about this guy whatsoever. The artwork itself, I'm not 100% a big fan of this style of artwork, but I'm interested to see and learn a little bit more about this character. So that concludes the Marvel section of my comics. Now, I know I said that's the end of Marvel, but I guess Star Wars technically is Marvel. But coming on to this, Darth Vader, if you are a Star Wars fan, do yourself a favor and go read the Darth Vader comic books. Read all of them. They are fantastic. One of the most enjoyable series I've ever read. Loving Darth Vader enormously. Well worth it. Then we come to Star Wars, the standalone series that also runs parallel to this, or a little bit before. It's sort of like something happens in Star Wars, then it shows you Vader's perspective of it. They had a crossover, Vader Down, which was an excellent crossover as well. I really don't like this one as much. I read it more just for the sake of reading it because it's Star Wars, if I'm completely honest. But Vader, do yourself a favor and get your hands on that. Well worth reading. And then we've got Anakin and Obi-Wan, which again is kind of a hit and miss series. You either like it or you don't. The artwork I like. The battles in it are good. Anakin is not as annoying as he was in the movies. I more get this one for Obi-Wan, who is one of my favorite characters of all time. So that concludes, I guess, our Marvel and Star Wars. All right, these next few I'm going to fly through, and that's Grizzly Shark Returns. Again, another fun comic book. It's actually quite enjoyable. The humor in it is really good. I encourage you to check that out. Godzilla Oblivion, a really good series. If you're a fan of monsters and things like that, as a Godzilla comic goes, it's probably as good as you're going to get. I really am enjoying this series. Pacific Rim, another mega monster series. That one is fantastic, but they don't publish enough issues of this. I think it's been like 2 months since this issue came out. But a really top comic. I encourage you to check Pacific Rim out. Then you've got G.I. Joe vs. Street Fighter, a great crossover. The story in this is actually really good. I'm not a big Street Fighter fan. I do like G.I. Joe, and they've managed to turn me into a Street Fighter fan from reading this comic. So well done on that. Then we get to 2 comics that are must-reads just in general. And one is Aliens Defiance, which looks fantastic. And then the other series, which is Predators. The Predator one is basically what every fanboy wants in a movie. A heap of colonial marines land on a planet and fight predators. Give us that in a movie, please. So that's it for, I guess, your alternative type comics. And I saved the best for last. There is no secret that I'm a huge DC fan, and I'm very excited about DC's latest Rebirth storyline. I know they're revealing a lot about certain characters, such as the Joker and things like that. We've got the Rebirth #1. We've got the Batman Rebirth, the Superman Rebirth, and there should be a Wonder Woman that I've got coming very soon as well. But very interested to see what they do with the Rebirth storyline. I'm not going to spoil anything in relation to that, but it looks quite good. I'm interested to see what they do with this. Then we come to Supergirl, a TV show that a lot of people don't like. I don't mind it. It's not great. Arrow's a lot better. Flash is a lot better. Legends of Tomorrow is a lot better. But it's DC, so I watch it anyway when I get spare time. And I don't mind it. They show some cool Superman villains in there as well. I'm hoping Cyborg Superman, Hank Henshaw, who if you watch the show will know there's a character there, is going to appear sometime soon. That would make me very, very happy indeed. Then we've got Lois and Clark, definitely well worth reading. It's very similar to the Old Man Logan comic book, which I've also been reading, in that Superman sort of goes into an alternate universe. He knows who's going to become a villain, so he basically goes on a killing spree, stopping them before they become villains. But all is not what it seems. And that's essentially the premise. A really good read, really enjoying that one. Then we've got Red Hood Arsenal. I don't actually know why I've got this one, to be honest with you. I don't normally collect this series. I guess it was in my standing order, possibly by mistake. But we'll see. I'll have a read of that, and hopefully it's okay. I love Red Hood. and Arsenal's not bad as well. So we'll see what happens with that one. Deathstroke, this series is a must-read. I've read right from issue 1 with the New 52, and Deathstroke is one of my favourite series. Definitely really good. Lots of cool crossovers with Batman villains and so forth. Love the artwork, love the designs and everything. This series is a really good series for comic book fans. And then finally, we've got for the upcoming Suicide Squad, we've got the Most Wanted Deadshot and Katana series. I think all 5 issues here from memory. Yes, so a really cool series I'm excited to start reading. I hope the movie is going to be good. I've got high hopes for it. I know people are saying I should have low expectations, but fingers crossed, hopefully it's good. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this review on the comics that I read and collect. Let me know if you think they are good, bad, or which ones you recommend in the comments below.